Hey there, welcome to AlaskaFlyFishingGoods.com's online fly tying tutorial. Today we're going to show you how to tie the lead-eyed egg-sucking leech. Super duper Alaska pattern, responsible for quite a few salmon on the barbecue, not to mention trout, char, and pretty much everything else that swims. We're going to start out with a 5263 down eye hook. You can use anything in here from size, 1 or 2/0 to the 6 that we're using. 6 just makes it a lot easier for you guys to see what's going on here. Put our thread on. Take a set of dazzle eyes here. Put in our drop of liquid thread right at the front. Wrap our eyes on fairly close to the eye. Make sure they're straight there. Yeah, looks good enough. Take a couple wraps this way, a couple wraps that way. Call it good. And then we're going to work our thread back here to just past the hook point, but not quite to the hook barb, about right there. We're going to wrap back just a little bit more than that. I'm going to take some marabou here. I got a kind of a clump. What I do is I take it, cut a marabou feather in half, pull back so the tips are kind of aligned, then take another one and sort of stack it in there, just like so. So we're going to take about 1 fly length's worth of marabou. So yeah, it's looking good. That'll be our tie-in point right there. I'm going to tie that in, and then instead of just clipping this stuff here, we're going to kind of tie it. We're going to wrap it down forward to give the fly a little bit of body bulk, just so when we do wrap the chenille on, it's definitely, there's something underneath it, make it proud. So we're going to go ahead and clip that, just so when we finish wrapping, it's going to be right up by the eyes, like so. And you'll see what I mean when I say make the body a little bit bigger, right there. We're going to give it some girth here. Alright, and then right back here where your thread insert was, we're going to take some crystal flash and we're going to loop it around the thread just like so. And we're going to put that on either side, about 3 or 4 wraps down like that. Another piece. Put it down. Just doing it this way really, it makes it stuck in there for sure, but it also helps you place it really accurately. Alright, next thing that's going in is a chunk of crystal chenille. It's chenille with what looks like flashabou in it. We're going to tie in about 3/16 of an inch, so we got a good strong tie-in point. Sort of loop that out of the way. Then we're going to tie in a piece of wire. This is black medium wire, and that's going to be our counter wrap for our hackle. Tie that in. Then we're going to take our hackle and we're going to tie it in facing back that way by the tip here. Tie in about that much. Flip it over. And we can just sort of pop that end out. Now we're going to wrap up to our eye here, just shy of it, maybe about 1/8 of an inch back behind it. Then we'll take our crystal chenille, make sure all the rest of the materials of the fly are out of the way, and then we're going to wrap it forward. It'd be really easy to just sort of spin your vise and wrap this stuff, but it really makes the body look nice if you sort of peel it out of the way, if you're sort of pulling back the fibers. Really definitely gives it a prouder look that way, and so you're not wrapping things down. We're going to go ahead and wrap that up to where our thread is. And I'll make that last wrap a little tighter. And about right there. Cross over it, cut it out. Give it a couple safety wraps there. Now we're going to take our hackle and we're going to sort of fold it back here like so, and then we're going to wrap about 4 or 5 times and basically palmer it through this stuff. And we're going to get a 5 wrap body today. And then once we get up here, we're not going to stop. We're going to actually make a little collar with this. And you want to peel it back every time when you wrap it here. Do about 5 or 6 turns just so there's a little bit more bulk up at the front, like so. Yeah, 6 turns. We'll go ahead and nip that one in the bud right there. Get that out of the way. Now we're going to drag our counter wrap wire through here. What that does is it kind of seats that hackle down against the crystal chenille here. Also, if your hackle happens to break, it doesn't unwind everywhere. This sort of keeps it in. So you notice that we've been wrapping in a counterclockwise. For a right-hander, generally wrap counterclockwise. So this one we're going to wrap clockwise. We're going to go back through it. We're going to sort of wiggle it around here, so we're not trapping anything down. You see how you can kind of wiggle it around and get it in and underneath these barbules. You don't have to do it a bunch, but you definitely want to keep tension on it as you're going through it, and you definitely want to do it about 5 or 6 times here. And then we're going to get it all the way up to the front to our collar here, and then we're going to cross out, and then we're going to trap it down right there. Good 6 or 7 wraps, and then instead of cutting it, we're going to pull it off like that, and that leaves a little rounded end so that the next wrap you take with thread doesn't get cut by a sharp end of the wire. So that's the first part of that. Now here comes the egg sucking portion of the leech. Take a little bit of chenille, medium or fine, depending on how big it is. Tie it in behind the eye. And then we're going to wrap our thread up on the front here. Now we're going to go around. And this stuff, you don't want to move your hands up and down it, because that's actually going to pull the chenille out. It's actually fairly delicate. You can see just, one little nip, and boy, you start to lose a whole lot of it off the end here. So kind of keep tension out away from it, and then make that big exaggerated motion around the fly. So you want to make one wrap like that, and then kind of do some coverage around the lead eye, sort of do a figure 8 there, and then definitely look down and make sure that you're covering stuff on the bottom too here. So you want to do that nice and tight. You want to get about 6 or 7 wraps in there, and then when you do, you want to make one final wrap that comes out in the front, and then you're going to trap that one with your thread against the bottom side here. Makes it nice and easy. And we're going to go ahead, clip that close, and we can finish this one off. Give it a couple wraps, and then we're going to give it a whip finish, and then clip it, and that is how you tie a lead-eyed egg-sucking leech.